What's up, stars? How are you all doing today? Thanks so much for tuning in. Welcome to another live edition of Rocket Live. I am so happy that you're all here with us today to hang out, chill out, listen to this awesome conversation, and just have some fun. As always, definitely feel free to participate along the way with anybody who's watching live. Feel free to comment, ask questions as you go. It always makes the show a little bit more fun for all of us on here, especially our guests, because that's what it's all about. It's all about having fun. I want to thank everybody who will be watching the replay of this, and those of you who will be listening to the audio version of this much later on. I want to welcome my guest today, Melissa from Hopeful Simplicity. How are you, Melissa? What's up?
Hiya! Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I know. I'm so psyched that you're here. This is so cool. This is great. It's once again, it's one of these things. It's like we talk about it. It feels like so long ago that we talked about having you on the show, and then like all this time goes by, and it's like, oh, here you are. You're on the show. So this is super cool. Definitely but yet another Clubhouse friend on the show. So great. Clubhouse is just the gift that keeps on giving as far as having amazing people on the show.
Absolutely. It's great. And I mean, it's just like a conversation starter, and then you never know who you can meet and talk to. I love it.
Yeah, it's super cool, and that's how you and I connected it on Clubhouse, and I got to talk to Melissa a bit and got to know her a little, and then I was like, you know what, why don't you come on the show? This will be great because I find what you do really interesting, and I know a lot of people are very into getting their lives organized and helping with the stress that all that causes, and I know that's just one of the things that you do. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to talk about your background, how you got into all this, and all that great stuff. Before we dive in, once again, just want to remind everybody, feel free to participate along the way, drop comments, say hi, ask questions as we go. It is all good, and it adds to the fun and excitement of things. And definitely make sure that you hit the links up in the show notes. I have all of Melissa's links in the show notes, all the different ways to connect with her. So make sure you use those. And for anybody listening to the audio version, make sure you use them as well, because they're always in there. And that's what this is all about, is bringing people's stories to life here and making sure that you connect with them. So Melissa, let's set this up. Hopeful Simplicity, what is it?
It's my baby. It is a lifestyle option of getting it off of all on me and making that home team we actually successful. Because more often than we prefer, be it the moms or the single parents or the adults in the household, we feel like all that responsibility is on us to manage everything when it comes to people, places, and things, right? Like,
right.
Especially, I know my generation, it's my job to make sure everything's in line and in order. And so now the Hopeful Simplicity lifestyle shifts that. So now my son is just as responsible for managing the home as I am. And so we really focus on that home team concept instead of just one person.
Yeah, and being a parent for quite some time, that whole team mentality thing is not something that my wife and I have been able to crack or keep consistent. So I'm sure for anybody out there, especially all those parents out there watching and listening to this, I'm sure this is something that is a topic that's very near and dear to all of your hearts, because we would love very much so for all of our children and for the people who live in the house to all band together to help keep our lives a little bit more simple and a little more organized.
Yep.
So talk about a bit about the how did this get started for you? Like, I'm sure this isn't something you just woke up one day and said, hey, I'm gonna do this. There obviously there's a backstory behind this.
There is. I mean, like anything, there's always a major story, but for me it was a snapping point. I was asked what's for dinner, and that was it. I lost my one day. Like, I'm like, I don't even care, y'all can starve. And I realized, okay, maybe this is not right. Like, I don't want to live this stress, but more importantly, I don't want my son to think that stressed out and angry at home and just resentful in general is normal. I don't want him to think that is normal to dread the everyday life. So we started just one little thing at a time. We started meal planning together. We started giving him more responsibility, him being my son who was 8 when this all really started.
Right.
And part of that was having the ugly talks with self of like, okay, I can't be in control anymore. Even though I'm a control freak, I literally cannot physically be in control anymore. So that's kind of how it all started. The backstory is I lost my stuff and things had to start changing. So we just started changing it.
Yeah, which, I mean, you had your tipping point, your breaking point
Yeah.
there, and that's it, and usually that's for everybody is where it starts and happens, and it's just like, boom, let's go. I got to make a change. Like enough is enough.
Yep.
And I
Absolutely.
think everybody out there has had that moment in their life, that awakening moment there, for sure. So prior to doing this, what is your backstory? Like, what were you into prior to starting this business and all that? Like, what is your background?
Before that, I was really, like I was raised, I handle the inside job, right? Like I do all the cooking, I do the cleaning, I manage the kids, I do all the things. And then
Right.
I bought my first house and I was asked, "Oh, I guess you're going to, find a man now because who's going to cut the grass?" And I'm like, I am going to figure out how to learn that. And
Right.
so beforehand, it was very not even in my brain pan of these aren't things I do, right? Like I don't clean the gutters, I don't cut the grass. I'm supposed to be the good girl and do all the inside stuff. So
Right.
beforehand, it was really, and now looking back, it was a backwards way of thinking to the society we currently live in.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think too that just to go back a little bit about how, you got started and how this all sort of worked. And like you said, it was that breaking point. And I think, as I said, like everybody's had that breaking point and the development of something. And so you've really taken like this idea and expanded it. So it seems to be even so much more than like what you described. So like for instance, if you go on a website, you have all kinds of different things like organization and planners, and there's sessions, there's a shop, there's all these different things. So why don't you walk us all through it a little bit? Like, so if someone's to go to the website right now, so if they go to hopefulsimplicity.com, like how does this start? Like, hey, I'm a disaster, I don't know where to start, I go to the website, like what should I do? Coach
You
me.
should probably join our YouTube channel and Facebook group.
Mhm.
That's where you're going to get like tip in the water, right? Like if I'm like, "Hey, let's schedule a 2-hour session and jump right in." It's scary.
Right.
It's super scary. But if you start like just those social profiles, just those little tips and tricks of like, okay, maybe I should consider it this. Maybe I should see organizing in this way. Maybe I should see product control in this way.
Mhm.
It kind of, just gets you a little damp. And then once you see a few changes happening, then you're ready. Then you're like, okay, yeah, this could really happen. For us personally, I actually started with all of our product swaps because
Right.
I was
Okay.
stressed out with like harsh chemicals. I had to wipe down the table and then he would touch the table and I'd be like, "Oh no, go wash your hands." "Oh no, wait, you're using a chemical to wash the chemicals off your hands."
Right.
And so it kind of spiraled from there. So then the product, just simplifying the actual products we used. And then I'm like, this is so much more than just what we're actually using.
Mhm.
It then became, okay, well, if I have less stuff to manage and not just what we're cleaning with, not just what we're washing with, just in general, like what am I bringing
Right.
into my house on all consumer levels, really just spiraled into the simplicity concept of I'm going to use products I love and only use products I love. I'm going to buy things I love and only buy things I love.
Right.
And so then it just kind of morphed into like this organizing lifestyle that encompasses all the concepts of what you're actually bringing in and managing.
Yeah, and you said something there too about the natural products, which is something that I saw on the site. And that is something I certainly believe in using too, is getting away from a lot more of those chemical products and using something a little bit more natural based. And I think that, going through what we've all just gone through, I mean, and we're not over, I mean, it's still happening around us, is the and is, has been this pandemic, but it's also brought to light a lot of that, like things that we were like, whatever, we didn't think about cleaning it, but now we want to clean it. But then, you think of like how many, you couldn't walk into the supermarket now with being like bombarded with all kinds of cleaning chemicals, and like you're just constantly cleaning. And it's like you're now like you've introduced all these new chemicals into your home that you're really not using, that you weren't really using a lot of. And then you're also killing like actually the good microbes and the good things that actually need to live in our environment too, that help keep the bad stuff away. And it's like it becomes this like, well, we want to keep things clean, so then we do that, but then we bring all these new chemicals into our house that we're not really using, so then we're doing that, but then we're killing our actual environment of the good things that we want. So it's I like though that you talk a lot about that, and I see you share that on IG and on the website, and I think it's very mindful for people to understand, like, hey, you can absolutely clean, but like you don't have to buy the most industrial sized cleaner or like the stuff with the strongest like chemicals on earth, that are like actually slowly killing you.
Yeah. I love it. People are like overwhelmed by all the products out there. You always want the next best thing, the next best thing. But
Right.
if you have to hold your breath to clean a room because it's overpowering, that's a sign. Like that's a sign right there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like people forget, like, vinegar cleans a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you could just go with that. I mean, it's amazing, but that's why I love like what you're doing, because I think it's really cool to like talk about it and show people like how easy it is. Because I think people think like, oh, it's natural, it's difficult. Oh my God, I gotta make this stuff because people make a much bigger deal out of it than it actually really is. And so I like, once again, I think this relates really well to like hopeful simplicity, is like you really do a good job making it, like showing it for what it is, which is, hey, this isn't hard. This is actually really simple.
Yeah, it really is. And I always hear like our biggest argument that I get like pushback on is it doesn't clean as well. And I'm like,
but what is as well? Like stripping the varnish off of like the finish off the table? Like how much?
I just that always blows my mind. I'm like, clean as well as what? Like call your grandmother. She used to rub a lemon on the counter.
I was just gonna say that. Like, yeah.
Clean as well as what? I don't.
Yeah, it's so true. My great grandmother used to clean with lemons. I mean, cut the lemon, wipe down the okay, done. It's like, you're so right about that. So funny. It's it becomes so much more overcomplicated than it needs to be. And it's like, well, because it's natural, it's hard. And it's like, well, that's not the case, really. It's hilarious to me. So talk to me about organizing sessions, because I see that that's something that you have, and I was looking at that and I was like really interested by it. So an organizing session, it seems when I think of organizing session, I feel like I'm just gonna like throw on like some record and I'm gonna start cleaning, and that to me is like organize. And usually what happens is I clean and then there's a pile of stuff that I'm like, well, I don't know where it goes, so now I'm just gonna stick it here, and so it's out of sight until I decide to do it again. So what is an organizing session?
So a session is going to be a one-on-one, kind of like this, right? Mm-hmm. We're just chatting out one-on-one. Right. We're going to talk ahead of time to make sure you're ready to work. Mm-hmm. And we're going to work on one small space at a time. Mm-hmm. So most of the time that's going to be like your closet, or, I'm not going to say your kids' toys because that's like 7 sessions, but like just that one small space that's like, I can tackle this. And we're going to honestly go through, let's say a closet, for instance. If you haven't worn something within the last year, you don't need it. So I'm going to be that person going,
well, thank you for saying that, because that is a big problem of mine. I have stuff in my closet. I can't even put other clothes in my closet anymore. And then I'm like, yeah, but what if I wear it again? See, I need you to be like, Chris, you haven't worn it over a year? Out of here.
Yeah. Done. And I'm not it's really funny in person, because I'm like, time's up. No, you don't get it. You lost your moment. Now's the moment. And I always encourage, if you haven't used it and you're like, oh, one day I'm going to fit in there. Or one day I might. No,
that's me.
Because right now you're living for right now. So we're going to focus on the right now during that session. And we're going to go one chunk at a time. We're just going to do shirts, right? We're going to do 15 minutes. We're going to do shirts. For 2 hours, we're going to tackle the whole closet. That's a whole session. But it's literally looking at everything. And if you have to justify, then it's a no. If it's not a hell yes, it's a heck no.
All right. I say I like that because now you got me fired up because now I'm like, I just want to go rip my closet apart. So I like this simplicity of making the decisions of what goes and what stays. So this is actually really good stuff here. See, you're coaching me right now. I hope everybody else watching and listening to this is getting the same inspiration I am feeling, because this is a for real problem. Like it's kind of a daily discussion of like, when are you gonna clean out this closet? When are you gonna get rid of this stuff? So this is what I personally need to hear right now.
And see, in our community and in our Facebook community and our Gut Lives and the courses I'm building, it all focuses on 15 minutes. Like, babe, I work full time out of the house. I'm a single mom at the moment. So I'm doing that, kid back and forth transfers, and I run my own business. I don't have 8 hours. I don't have like from 8 to 10, you're going to work on this. And from 10 to 12,
right.
I don't, what? So when you are working through your hopeful journey by yourself, you're going to work on 15 minutes. That's it. Hey, look at that. I made my sock drawer a little better than it was.
Right.
I made my t-shirt collection a little better than it was, because it's a journey, right? It's a progress.
Yeah.
It's not perfection. It's a little better than it was. And then in a year's time, you have a system, right? You're already maintaining systems and you're living less stressed. And you're like, I got this. It's hopeful style. We got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the 1% better every day type of thing, right? I'm 1% better than I was yesterday. I'll be 1% better tomorrow than I was today. And so I think it really is the same principle of that. So if I go into my closet and I spend 15 minutes and I'm okay, that's it. And then tomorrow I do another 15 minutes, or in a couple of days when I do another 15. The point is I'm making progress.
Yes. And we tackle it in chunks. So we do 15 minutes for decluttering one day. And the next day you're going to go in and do 15 minutes of organizing.
Okay.
So that way you're tackling it both, because cleaning is its own beast, right? I want cleaning to be like a habit in place, where like organizing is separate, right? If you're disorganized and you have to move shit to clean,
right,
we have a problem in itself.
Right.
Where if you're organized, everything has a home. So now I just get to wipe stuff down and I'm done.
Right. I like that. I like it. So I do have another question coming up, which I'm interested to see what your answer is, because I'm wondering if you get a lot of this. But before I ask that, if anybody in the audience right now wants to leave a comment or ask a question, please do so. All you got to do is leave it in the comments, and we'll get it here, and I'll bring it up, and we could Melissa and I could talk about it or share it on screen. And with that, my next question is, do you get a lot of people talking about their pets or having pets all over like pet stuff all over the place, and especially somebody who has multiple pets, and there's like seems to be dogs and pet stuff everywhere, a cat, a litter box? I mean, you have to be dealing with that, because I got a feeling, especially when you have multiple animals in the house, it becomes like they just take over the whole house.
Right? They're just like, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
If you consider kids pets, then yes, absolutely.
Well, yeah, they certainly act like it sometimes.
Yeah. I always encourage a pet drop zone. So you would have the leash and any towels for outdoor use, or their poop bags and things like that. Well, they would have its own, like pets would have their own little space, right? They would have their own zone, just like cat stuff would have all of its own zone. We work big on creating a home for everything and putting everything together in that home. Right.
Which I think is smart, because it's like, it becomes one of those things. I think it's just the same principle as you're saying. It's like, try to find home bases for things. It's like, I wish I could teach my dog to actually pick up his toys. I know it would be nice, because it's like, we do have this like little crate that all his toys go in, but he knocks the crate over, he digs out all the toys, spreads them all over the house, and we don't always pick them up. So then you get to the end of the day, or it's like at night, especially when you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and you all of a sudden you step on like some like bone or something, and you're like, oh my God, like you just go nuts, and then you pick everything up, you put it back in the crate, and it just repeats. And it's like, it's like, but I agree with the fact of like, yeah, have a drop zone with like the leashes and the little baggies and all that stuff. But yeah, if you can come up with a system, or yeah, if that's a separate this thing you can do of like how to teach your pets to pick up after themselves, that'd be great. That would be wonderful.
If I cross paths with like like a pet trainer, I'll be like, oh, I have a friend that needs some help.
Yeah, it would be nice. And I'm sure I'm not the only one out there. And I only have one dog. I can only imagine with people who have like, multiple dogs, and then you got cats and the cat tree in the corner, and the dog, and there's just crates everywhere. Like it's just
Oh, I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I would be like, you get one toy mouse cat, pick it, and the rest aren't coming out until it's dead. And that's
it.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough because you figure, because during the course of your day, like they need to be amused so much, so you just keep like throwing toys at them to like keep them like occupied, and then they play with it for like 5 minutes or 30 seconds, and they're bored, and then they're like back to like, I got to get some work done. I can't, you're like on Zoom, and it's like.
This is where, like, if we could talk to them, be like, why do you dig through the box? Are you just looking for that one specific toy, and I just happen to put it in the bottom every time? Like, what is happening?
I don't know. I feel like it is that, but then it's like, oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, I forgot about this one. Ooh, it's just. So there was a trigger there, and it just became like, well, I want all the toys. So I'm going to bring each one out, and I'm going to spread it around. I'm going to hide one into the couch, and that you'll find when people are over. You're like, oh yeah, sorry. Let me get that chewed up bone out of your way. Sorry.
Yep.
That's good. Okay, well, so I mean, that could be an expansion to your business. I'm thinking is like there's a whole pet side of things.
There's a whole pet trainer connection. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. So we're you're welcome. I'll give you.
Oh right. Let me write that down. No.
Yeah, let me write that one down. I gotta file that under garbage.
Learn how to train pets like children. Okay.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
It's not hard.
I'm sure you can figure that out. Like you said it before, it's a partnership with the.
Yes.
So let me ask you this: what is your most, when people come to you, I'm sure you see all different walks of life. People at different stages in their life. That their children at different ages, things like that. What seems to be the most consistent challenge that you're seeing that people have across the board?
Paper.
Interesting. Paper. Okay. Explain paper.
Paper. Sorry, my nerd just fell a little bit. So you always have incoming paper of any age, whether you have kids in school, you're single, you've got the mail coming in, you've got tax papers coming in, you've always got stuff coming in, and it always ends up on a flat surface. Normally the countertop or the tabletop, and you're like,
or the kitchen table,
or the kitchen. Exactly. It's like, where's that one paper that? Yeah. So paper is always the biggest challenge, and it's always where I encourage people to start. They're like, where do I start? Just get a paper basket and schedule an hour to go through your paper basket once a week. So I always encourage that because it's consistent. Like my parents are retired, but they still have all the mail coming in, right? They still have your retirement documents and your health insurance, and everything's still coming in. And unless you process it as you get it, you still have a pile of paper.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So basically you're saying then take like one basket, and that's where all paper goes. And then at the end of the week, you go through it and sort through what's trash and what's important.
Yep.
And then the important stuff gets filed into another basket that says important.
No, you process it. So
okay.
When my son comes home, he empties his folder into the basket. When we get the mail, it goes into the basket.
Okay.
And so if he's like, hey, Mom, did you sign that paper? Huh? No, but I know where it is.
Right.
And then on Sundays, I schedule myself that, normally it's like 20 minutes. If that, I just put on pink and I'm like, woo, rock out, woo, go through it all. And then I just process it and file it or shred it. And it's that consistency of it's got a home. And then you have it scheduled to process your home.
Okay. All right. And what do you do with bills? Just throw that. Those go into garbage, right?
Yeah. Those are annoying.
Yeah, those are annoying.
Or
That goes in a separate basket.
that's the I don't want to deal with life basket. That's a whole
Right.
nother basket. It's black.
Right.
No,
It's a black hole. Whatever goes in it doesn't come back out.
right. So actually bills for me. I actually track on a spreadsheet, and then I know how much I paid,
Mhm,
the date I paid it, and then the confirmation number, and then I transfer that number
mhm.
onto the paper bill if I still get it, and I
Right.
file it in a box.
That's
Just a
interesting.
January through December box.
That's interesting though. Is that something you do you teach people how to do that as well? Is
Mhm.
that part of so it's yeah, so it's obviously it's the physical stuff like that, like paper, but like things like that, like, hey, I don't know how to use Excel or I don't know how to use Google Sheets. I don't know how to set up a spreadsheet to do that. That's something you could walk someone through.
Yeah, that's something I definitely walk people through. And I mean, the paper is so hard. Like we have a private papers and planning group
Right.
on Facebook just to tackle those kind of questions. Now, most of that group are the people that use our home management binder.
Okay.
So if you were to come into my house, if anything were to happen to me, you could come in, you could find this binder, and you can know what medicines we're on, what our insurance plan is, who to call, what doctor, what vet thing. What is it? A vet?
Right.
A vet?
Yeah, vet.
So you could come in and run my house based off this binder. So it's seamlessly done. And we tackle that page by page and
Hmm.
process by process in our papers and planning group.
That's a really great idea, actually. I'm being really serious because that's something that we actually I don't have that we essentially. I mean, we kind of have stuff in a safe, but not all the paper stuff like you were saying. Like it's sort of spread out. That's actually a really good idea. That's something we should
Yeah.
probably really do is kind of get everything together like that in case of an emergency. Everything can be found quickly, and
Yep.
and if you could tell someone where it is, and they could help and go, "Hey, it's in here. This is where everything is." That's actually that's really
Yeah.
great advice.
And we actually keep that. I keep all my parents' information too.
Right.
So if they were to have an emergency,
Good idea.
I know what medicine they're on. And so I can take that to their doctor in case of an
Mhm.
emergency, be like, I don't have a clue, but here it is.
Right.
And because I really want to be present, right? I really want to be intentional to where I am. And if I have to go through somebody's house or dig through 12 different drawers to hopefully find the one piece of paper that you may or may not have,
Right.
then it's chaos.
Yeah, and that's it. And especially too during something that could be traumatic or an emergency situation, it's hard to really think straight on some of those things. So just being able to say, "Hey, it's here, everything's there," like, simplify. Simplify the process.
Yep.
Look at that.
And
Simplifying the process.
it's all in PDF. So you can we're actually running the special on the home management binder this month. You can get
Okay.
all the pages for free. Just use code HMB if you want to get it, but it's all sent in a PDF. So you can even fill it in electronically and save it to your phone. Because if you have a binder at home, but I'm at work,
Mhm.
okay, well, I work at the hospital. I'm not going to come home. I'm at where you're coming. So I've
Right.
got it electronically saved and scanned to my phone, and I can be like, oh, hold on, there you go. And so it's really, I'm a paper person, so I like having a binder,
Yeah.
but it's also versatile because we live in an electronic world, right? Like it's all
We do.
virtual.
Yeah. I mean, even if you have the paper, you may take a picture of it and scan it and then email it to somebody like, "Hey, it needs to be signed." And I mean, you could do
Yeah.
digital signatures, but some people still require like, a
Mhm.
handwritten signature for something.
Mhm. Yep, that's what. And every fall when I sign up for my next year of life insurance, I scan these pages to my parents. I'm like, update.
Yeah, there it
Yeah.
is. I mean, yeah, and you got to do that, and then then you're scanning it into the phone, and that's a
Yeah.
whole thing. Well, that's very cool. I mean, this was great. I mean, I really, there's so much there that you don't think about until you have to think about it, and like even like the, we're I know we were joking around about the closet before, but it really is like that is it's for me, it's a challenge. Like I can't even fit stuff in there. Stuff's falling out. It's really a mess. And the thing is, I could probably gain so much more room if I just took the time to do it. And like I like the 15 minutes a day approach because I'm always thinking about, oh my God, I'm just going to take a Saturday morning and and it's like, it's not going to happen because I don't want to give up an entire Saturday cleaning out the stupid closet. But I think 15 minutes a day, if I go down there, I pull some stuff out, throw it in a bag for the donation bin, and then that's it. And then that's done for the day. And then I come back tomorrow and make the decision again. And I like your thought process on like, is like select it for the now, which I think is really cool because that is my like, well, after I drop 30 pounds, I'll fit back into this again. Or, oh, I remember when I got this as a gift and I feel guilty getting it, but I'm like, I don't wear it, so it's, I think that's really good. And throwing away like old sneakers and shoes and stuff like that is.
So when you go to your closet, because I want to know the why. I'm big on the why. So like you go to your closet and you're going to drop 30 pounds, right? Yeah. Okay. Good job. But until you drop 30 pounds, just seeing that item, like remind you, just seeing that dress that you'll never fit into or tux or shirt or whatever that you may or may not fit into. Does it stress you out to see it?
Yes, it does.
We don't like that.
No, you're right. It creates, and I don't even think, but now that you're saying it, yes, it does create stress.
See, now you're going to think about it when you go to your closet, like, not today. I'm in charge. Right?
I am going to think about it. I'm like thinking about it now. I'm like, wow, I know there's at least like 10 shirts I can rip out of there right now and be like, you know what? Goodbye. I
expect to see pictures.
Oh, I will.
Simplicity. Bam.
I will send you pictures. I will IG it. I will send it to you, and then you will have proof of like, see, it works.
It does.
I like it. So for anybody listening or everybody watching out there live, Melissa's been great and this has been awesome. And definitely check out Hopeful Simplicity. So again, all links are in the show notes here. So you can hit up in the audio version, you'll see it wherever you're listening to podcasts, and of course in the video version here, wherever you're watching, in all the comment section and all that, you'll see or the post section, you'll see where all the links are. So Melissa, before we wrap up and all that, like, is there anything else that you want to let people know about? I know you were talking about there's a Facebook group for paper, and then there's the binder. So why don't you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So our most shares will be on Instagram and in our Facebook community. Like we have a Facebook group that specializes in organizing.
Okay.
So if you're just not sure yet, I always encourage just join the group or follow us on Instagram, and we'll start you lightweight before you're ready to jump in. But I always remind people that I truly and honestly do not believe that anybody is lazy or anybody is messy. I just think they haven't found their styles for success yet.
Right.
And so just have a little hope, join us, and we'll help.
No, I think that's really well said. I mean, it really comes down to it. It's just people haven't found exactly that thing that works for them. So I think it's a really good way of putting it. It's good. And then you could be like me, where I look at it and I get stressed out and I'm just like, I forget, I'll just leave it there. I'm just not even going to touch it. No. I also like the black hole basket. That's actually good too.
That's where the bills go to die.
That's where the bills go to die. Goes in, never comes out.
Yes.
Love all that. That's great. Well, I hope everybody had fun today. I hope you guys all enjoyed listening to Melissa. Definitely, as I said before, go hit up all the links, connect with her, join the Facebook group. If anything we are talking about today resonates with you, absolutely 100% get in touch and get started today. And this was awesome, Melissa. Thanks for coming on. This was a ton of fun.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Oh, for sure. This is great. I was really looking forward to talking to you about this. And see, I'm like ready to go. I'm ready to hit that closet right after this and start taking stuff out. So this was super cool. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all so much for watching. As usual, we're here live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be back next week with another amazing guest like Melissa to share their stories of what they're doing, how they're helping others, where they came from it, and why they do what they do. Always encourage everybody to watch and participate on the live show, ask questions, send us like funny comments, whatever it is. It's always fun. And I definitely encourage anybody who's watching or listening to reshare these episodes as well. because it not only helps me grow the show, but it also helps my guests come on and helps them spread their message and what they're doing, and just helps get the word out overall. And if you want any more information about myself, you can head over to rockitgrowthagency.com. And there's a whole bunch of stuff there. There's a whole bunch of links and resources and everything like that. You could always feel free to book a one-on-one session with me or a 45-minute consultation. I did just launch a new group coaching community, which I invite anybody to participate in. If you go over to the website and hit the Let's Rock group tab, you will be able to click and enter the group. The first week is free. So I always love hooking people up with that. And, if you time it right, you can actually get a lot of benefit out of that first week free. So make sure you check that out. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up here or anywhere. I am I'm pretty visible. I'm pretty easy to find when you want to track me down. So really appreciate all of you. Thank you all so much for all your support. And thanks for watching and listening to another episode of Rocket Live. And we will see you next Tuesday. And remember, always be authentic, always be yourself, and always remember to rock it. Yeah.